Please be seated. The court is now in session. Today the chamber will continue to hear the remainder of the testimony of Mr. Chen. And before we proceed, the chamber would like to inform the parties and the public that for today's proceedings and possibly for the next day's proceedings, Judge Yotra will not be available. And after we deliberated amongst the judges of the bench of the trial chamber, the reserve judge Tumani is assigned to take place of Judge Yotra until the time he is available to return to sit in the bench. That decision is based on Rule 79.4 of the ECCC internal rules. And Mrs. Sakalwati, could you report the attendance of the parties and individuals to today's proceedings? Sakalwati, Mr. President, for today's proceedings, all parties to this case are present. As for Nunji, he is present in the holding cell downstairs, as he requests to waive his rights to be present in the courtroom. His waiver has been delivered to the greffier. The witness who is to continue to testify today, that is Mr. Pan Chen, is present with his duty counsel Moon Sawan. We do not have a reserve witness today. Thank you. President, thank you. And before the chamber hands the floor to the prosecution, the chamber now decides on the request by Nguyen Chia. The chamber has received a waiver from Nguyen Chia, dated 25th February 2015. He confirms that due to his poor health condition, that is headache and back pain, and that he cannot sit for long, and in order to effectively participate in the future hearings, he requests to waive his rights to participate in and be present at the 25th February 2015 hearing. He has been informed by his counsel about the consequence of this waiver, that in no way it can be construed as a waiver of his rights to be tried fairly, or to challenge evidence presented or admitted to this court at any time during this trial. Having seen the medical report by the duty doctor for the accused and the ECCC, dated 25th February 2015, who notes that the health condition of Nguyen Chia is that he has severe back pain, and recommends that the chamber shall grant him his request so that he can follow the proceedings remotely from a holding cell downstairs. Based on the above information and pursuant to Rule 81.5 of the ECCC internal rules, the chamber grants Nguyen Chia's request to follow the proceedings remotely from a holding cell downstairs via an audio-visual means for today's proceedings, as he waives his direct presence in the courtroom. The AV unit is instructed to link the proceedings to the room downstairs so that Nguyen Chia can participate in and follow today's proceedings remotely. The chamber now hands the floor to the co-prosecutors to continue putting questions to the witness. Do you have the floor?
Thank you, Mr. President. Good morning, Your Honors. Good morning, Mr. Witness. I want to take you to a statement you made in answer 21 of what was OCIJ interview E319/8.2.1. You were asked in answer 21 whether the Khmer Rouge persecuted Lon Nol soldiers and government officers, and your response was, quote, "Yes, they did. It is not like they did not." End of quote. You then explained in your next response, answer 22, that, quote, "When they evacuated people from the city, they had places to keep those people, in pagodas, for instance. Then they selected those to be sent to detention sites and those to be sent to the cooperatives." My first question for you is, how was it determined which evacuees would be sent to detention sites and which to cooperatives?
First of all, good morning, Mr. President, Jonas, and everyone. I provided my statement to the investigator that at the time that I returned from Kampong Speu, and when Takay province fell, I was assigned to provide logistics and food to the people, including the leftover pork and other meats from the front battlefield. And the people from Takay were placed in various locations, including pagodas. I did not attend any meetings regarding the arrangement for those people. However, I saw them there on the ground. And I did not receive any specific instructions from the upper echelon regarding those people.
Let me just follow up on that last statement of yours, just to be clear. At any time, did Tamak or any leader from Tram Kok district provide any orders regarding the treatment of Lon Nol soldiers? And specifically, were there orders relating to which ranks were to be sent to detention sites, and whether there were others who were to be sent to cooperatives? Did you ever receive any instructions along those lines?
No, I did not, because at that time I was at a further place and I did not have any authority to receive such information.
Do you know whether Wat Champa in Tapem commune was one of the pagodas where evacuees were gathered?
Yes, I knew about that, and actually I myself entered the pagoda when I brought along the logistics from Takao. I saw people or the evacuees there who were busy doing their own personal things in the pagoda, cooking rice, and some other were cutting hairs of other people. That's what I observed, and I was there for a while, and then I returned to my location.
Can you give us an estimate of approximately how many evacuees there were at Wat Champa when you were there?
There were not many. To my estimation, there were about 50 to 60 people, including male and female.
Turning to a different time period now, you've testified that at some point in 1976, you returned to your home commune, Kus commune in Tramkak district, and that you were there for about 1 year working at the Pong Tuk cooperative before you were eventually sent to the rubber plantation in Kampong Cham province. Can you tell us who was the chief of Kus commune during the 1976 to 77 time period?
That was the statements that I provided to the investigator. At that time, I was transferred to Samrang Yao to make fertilizer together with my family. I then requested to move to live in the Prong Tuk cooperative. Tamok actually made a call to people in Kampong Speu to transport me to Takao and to live in the cooperative, to work in the rice fields, to plow the field together with the people there. And I was there for a year. And the commune chief was Saun and Un, who were in charge of that commune. And that is all.
How long had you known Saun? Was he someone who was on the commune committee back in 1973 when you were the commune chief?
I had known him a long time ago because previously he was the village chief in Kus commune, and later on he was promoted to be a member of the commune committee when I was transferred to Kampong Speu province.
And during the time in 1976 to 1977, when you were back in Kus commune, did you ever talk to Saun? Did you attend any meetings that were led by him?
No, I did not have any involvement with Saun because at that time I was an ordinary villager plowing the field and working in the rice fields together with other villagers.
Mr. President, with your leave, I'd like to provide the witness two reports from Kus commune at this time, both of which are in document E3/2441, E3/2441. With your leave, may I provide these two reports?
Yes, you may.
Mr. Witness, the first document in the two that I sent you is E3/2441 at Khmer 00270934, English 00369464, French 00611738. And that document is a report from Saun, which states, quote, from 4 May 1977, those with ranks who have been arrested and sent to the police are as follows. The report then identifies a former Lon Nol first lieutenant and a second lieutenant, both of whom were from Phnom Penh, and one of whom was a Khmer Krom. And the second report that I gave you, which is E32441 at Khmer pages 00270952 through 53, English 00369480 through 81, and French 00611755 through 56. This is a 9 September 1977 report, also from Sound, and it notes a number of people who had already been arrested on the 6th of September, and identifies 7 other former Lon Nol officers who had been quote, subsequently found. 5 of whom were first lieutenants, 1 second lieutenant, and a captain. And Sound requests instructions on where to send those 7. My first question, do you recognize the handwriting in these reports?
Yes, I do. However, as for the content of this letter, I am not aware of it.
Do you have any information or knowledge as to why ranking officers of the Lon Nol military were being reported and arrested in Kus Commune in 1977?
I do not have knowledge about that, as I was stationed far away.
The last sentence of the September 77 report states, and I quote, "The contemptible Sam Ol went to study in Thailand," end of quote. Do you know who Sam Ol was?
No, that name doesn't ring a bell.
Mr. Witness, based on your experience as a commune chief, did Sound, as the Kus commune chief, have authority himself to decide to arrest former Lon Nol officers, or was that something that would need to be ordered by the district or sector?
I cannot respond to that question, as I do not have any knowledge about that. And that is the truth, as I did not know about the authority of the commune chief or anything related to the former Lon Nol soldiers. The only thing I knew was that there were about 50 to 60 people in Champa Pagoda, and later on I was transferred to the rubber plantation, and I did not know what was happening back in that commune.
Mr. Witness, during the time that you were chief of Kus commune in 1973, did you have authority to decide to arrest people, or was that something you needed approval from the district or sector?
While I was there, I did not have the authority to arrest anyone. Only the district level and above had that authority, not at the commune level. And we also did not have any force for the arrest at our level. We only have a handful of the commune and village militia with a very limited number of weapons.
Now, going back to the 1973 to 74 time period, in interview E3 5522 at answer 44, you made the following statement regarding people who had been taken away from Krang Tachan for execution. And I quote, "They would have a list of those people's names already. As for me, does that mean that I did not know what was happening? No. I knew what was going on. They let me know what they were doing, but I had no authority." Continuing a little later, "When they took the people away, they had their list, and I examined it." End of quote. Can you tell us where it was that you received and examined these lists? Was it at your commune office, or was it at Krang Tachan?
At that time, it was not in Krang Tachan because by 74 I was already at the Kampong Speu province. But when I went to receive the logistics, and as I stated previously about those evacuees from Takeo, those people registered their names, and in fact I had a look at those names, and that's why I learned where they came from or where they had been, and that was the statements that I made to the investigator.
Let me read another statement that you made to the investigators, Mr. Witness. In that same interview, E3 5522 at answer 53, you were asked as follows. Question: before you left the Krang Tachan office, how were the people that had been arrested and placed in the Krang Tachan office treated? And in your response, you made the following statement, quote, "They took prisoners away from the office during nighttime, and they said that they were being taken to the second office, meaning Office 204. At that time, I just believed they were taking those people to Office 204. But 2 or 3 days later, I investigated, and I learned that they had not taken the prisoners to the second office. They had killed them near the foot of the mountains." End of quote. My question is, how did you learn that those prisoners had in fact been killed near the foot of the mountains?
But
What you read out is actually my statement, but I did not know the names of those people, and I made that observation, or you said investigation myself, because I wanted to know those people.
ដែលខ្ញុំនៅក្នុងឃុំនៅឡើយ
At that time, I was still in the commune.
And can you tell us about the investigation you did and how you learned that these people had been killed at what you called the foot of the mountains?
The base of that mountain was a forest area, and it was a quiet area, and not many people wandering in that area, and that's why they did it there, to avoid being hurt by the villagers. And I actually observe the activities by those people, and that's what I observed, and I made that statement to the OCIJ investigator. so that you all are aware of what I stated before the investigator.
This location that you describe as being at the base of the mountain, how far was this from Krang to Chen?
It was very far in terms of the base of the Mrai Romil mountain.
ភូមិសាស្ត្រព្រៃ
And that area was covered with thick forest.
ព្រៃពីមុននេះ
I refer to the forest at that time, but now it turned into rice fields by the villagers nearby.
And in the statement I just read, you referred to a second office called Office 204. Could you tell us what Office 204 was?
Office 204 was the sector's office.
And where was it located?
That office was located in between the Mrai Romil to the west and Dutch mountain to the other side. So it was actually located within the valley of these two mountains. And there was also a waterfall down from the mountain, and that water was sourced from Kampong Speu.
And what was Office 204 used for?
I did not know what it was used for. When I was assigned to arrange the accommodation for the people, and because there were not enough houses, then I had them clear the land so that we could build houses for them, and that I learned about that office. So we actually cleared the fields to build houses, and there were actually cassava plantation nearby, and I encouraged the people there to use it as food.
Turning to a different subject now, did you know a person named Dam, full name Niang Dam, who worked as a District 105 police or soldier in 1973?
Answer. I knew this person before. His name was Dam.
បាត់ដែល clear
But we separated from each other. I went to live in Kampong Speu, some round and rubber plantation. And after that, in 1979, I went to live on Dong Red Mountain, and I did not know where this person was living.
What did Dam do during the time that you were in Kus Commune before you went to Kampong Speu?
កាលមុន
Answer. Dam and An lived together. They lived in the same village. They worked together. Wherever An was, Dam would be there. That's what I knew.
Do you know what happened to Dam in the 1973 to 1975 time period?
ខ្ញុំអត់បានដឹង
Answer: I did not know.
I want to read to you testimony that we've heard in this trial from Sai Sen on the 5th of February 2015. This is E1 257.1 at 11:33:02. Quote, Dam was a soldier at first. Question, was he a prisoner at any point in time? Answer, yes, he was there. He had a problem. He had a moral offense with a lady, so he was removed to 204 with Tachen. And at Tachen's area, he had a problem again, so he was sent back to Krang Tachen. And, Mr. Witness, the case file also contains a report, which is document D157.64, dated 21 July 1977, sent by the chief of Jiangton Commune, Bun, to the district. It reports how Dam, Niang Dam, had been criticizing the party and had made the following statement, quote, when I was a policeman, I saw the party much more unjust because it personally implemented many killings under their power. He gave an example of Ah Yang in Trapiang village, who had been loyal to the Angkar but taken to be killed. Does this refresh your recollection about Dam and what happened to him? And also, did you know this person named Yang, who Dam said was unjustly killed?
Answer: I knew very little for this question because the fact that Dam had a moral offense, that was true, and when it was said that Dam went to do it to 204, it was not true. This Kuduaj was under Kampong Spur, under Borsait, and under supervision of another person. And Dam did not go with me, but actually I knew that Dam had moral offense. And as for Dam was taken anywhere by the commune, I did not know. I went with a group of 40 people. I was asked to go with my colleagues to bring the prisoners in a ox cart, and I could also got a bag of rice. That is true what I said. I am not now bragging what I am saying. I mention only the truth, nothing but the truth, because I am practicing a religion. So what I know, I would tell the courts. Among An group, there was a person named Jane, but there was no a person by the name Yang. So once again, I knew some points, and I knew very little in relation to the question put by the party. And I am afraid to mention anything beyond the truth.
Thank you, Mr. Witness. Now, you've already told us how, after leaving Kus Commune, you took groups of people to build houses in the Prey Kuduk area as part of your work on the evacuation committee. I want to read to you an excerpt from a report by Henri Locard on the Southwest Zone. This is E3/3232 at English 00217-652, Khmer 00741-580 through 81, French 00753-656 through 57, which contains an interview of an Ang Tassam resident who was evacuated to Prey Kuduk and the Camp 204. Quote, and this is what that person said, quote, "This was in operation from 1973, during the Civil War and after the evacuation of Ang Tassam by the Khmer Rouge. It was situated in Trankok district near the village of Prey Kuduk. She was arrested at the end of February 1973, not far from Ang Tassam, after the area had been overrun by the Khmer Rouge and the town forcibly evacuated. Up to 3,000 Lon Nol soldiers were captured, their hands tied behind their backs in groups of 50 to 100. Most were massacred. The re-education camp looks like old army barracks, which were already full of skinny workers. The newcomers must build temporary shelters in the forest, each for 30 to 40 people. To the west of her shed in the barracks, there were men who had been arrested for speaking ill of Angkar. They would labor, supervised by Pol Pot cadres. She saw children die around her." End of quote. Mr. Witness, when you testified that you were part of an evacuation committee that took people to Prey Kuduk and built shelters for them, was this the camp or was this near the camp that was known as Office 204?
Answer. I would like to tell the chamber that I was not fully aware of all the situation, and the chamber can assess the facts. Before I went to Prey Kuduk to arrange the shelter for people, Office of 204 was already dismantled. And after that, people from district, from commune were transferred to that place. I was part of the committee. Before I went to Prey Kuduk, I received some refugees from Tramkok district, Kiriwong district, district 108, 109, and I sent these people to their respective commune and villages. And I was the one who tried to find food for those people. And as for children, they were teens, and I tried to look for food for those children so that they could survive. But some died. This is the fact, that this is the truth. Please believe in me. When I arrived there was no Office 204. It did not exist. It was in the open field. The place was in the open field, and I went there to build the villages, commune for people. And there was a dam at that place. Now the dam is referred to as a Tachen Dam. I had a Katen ceremony this year, and we celebrated Katen at that pagoda, that is Prey Kuduk pagoda. And those who survived the period and they remain at that place, they know me very well, and they admired and congratulate what I did at that time. I did not know about other people understanding about the fact, but this is what I knew and what I did.
I have just a couple more questions for you, Mr. Witness. Another place that you have stated that you went after you left Coos Commune, and this is from E3 5522, your interview E3 5522 at answer 51. You stated, quote, "In 1974, I had already left Krang Tachan. They transferred me to Bong Sranay in Kampong Speu province." I want to read to you a statement from the former Tramcock District Secretary, Chim. This is in E3 4626 at Khmer 00373469, English 00380136-37, and French 00426207. He provided the following testimony about what you did after Krang Tachan. Quote, "Chen was transferred to another position as the chief of the Bung Sranay Security Center, which was located in Sranay Commune west of Trapeung Anduk. That area previously belonged to Chuk District, but later was integrated into Tramcock District. That center was in the border area of Kampong Speu. He was transferred there in about mid-1975. End of quote. Mr. Witness, what can you tell us about the Bung Sranay Security Center that Chim says you were the chief of?
Answer, I did not know. The place that I went there was not Bang Srongai. And I did not know about the security center in Bang Srongai. I did not know. I was not aware of it. There was a village and commune named Bang Srongai, but as for Kduch, when I was there, villages and communes were set up. Pray Kduch was set up, and 3 villages were combined together to make a commune. And that commune was in Kampong Speu province. And I cannot say about what I have just mentioned. I do not know whether it is true or not. So I mentioned what I knew only.
I want to conclude by going back to the detailed statement you made in interview E3 5524 at answers 32 through 35. The detailed statement I read to you yesterday about the interrogation methods that were used by P and On at Krang Tachan, including the use of what you called hot and cold methods of interrogation. And my final question for you is whether you have any explanation to the court other than your involvement and knowledge of Krang Tachan as to how you knew about cold and hot methods of interrogation that were used at Khmer Rouge prisons.
Answer. The investigator asked me about this. I could understand some matters in relation to this point. And I was told by someone that 2 methods were used, hot and cold. Cold method is to try to encourage the prisoner to confess. And as for hot methods, they would try to use any other resort, other means to force the prisoner to confess. They may use torture to encourage a prisoner to confess. So I only told what I knew.
Thank you, Mr. President. I have no further questions.
President, thank you very much, International Deputy Co-Prosecutor. Now I hand over the floor to lead co-lawyer. You have you have the time now until 10 past 10. Civil Party lawyer. Thank you, Mr. President. Good morning, everyone. Good morning, Mr. Witness. I am Mochsavanari, the Civil Party lawyer, and I am asking you on behalf of lead co-lawyer, international lead co-lawyer. Yesterday, you told the co-prosecutor that you were once a commune chief. I would like to ask you follow. While you were a commune chief, were you involved in the work of District 105? Answer. I did not have any role in the district of Tramkot. Lawyer. Thank you, Mr. Witness. My next question concerning Deputy Committee. I would like to ask you that when you were part of the evacuation committee, were you aware of the task duty of the committee, and how did they organize and coordinate people who were evacuated from Phnom Penh on 17 April 1975? Answer. Allow me to tell the President and everyone in the courtroom that I was assigned to be part of the evacuation committee. The members included Mang as well. Refugees here did not refer to people from Phnom Penh, and the refugee at that place were from the villages or the places nearby. So I was engaged to find food, to arrange shelters for these people. So it was not the refugee of war. Lawyer, yesterday you told the co-prosecutor that when you were working in the evacuation committee, a militiaman arrested some people from communes. I would like to ask you that when you asked those people who were arrested by militiamen, did you ask them why they had been arrested, and how did you arrange and accommodate these people? Answer. That is my statement. I asked those people about contradictions and about the reason why they had been arrested and brought to the place, to my place. I was walking at that time, and I asked them, and they said they got problem in the matter of stealing coconuts. So it was a minor problems they got, and because they committed such a minor offenses, they were arrested and sent to my place. And after asking them these people did not commit any serious offenses. And the upper echelon perhaps did not know the reason that these people were arrested. So I decided with some of the members of the committee to have some of these people, because they did not commit any serious offenses, and some of them were released, and as I told the court already about the matter yesterday.
ចាសសូមអរគុណលោកសាក់សីអញ្ចឹងតាមប្រសាសន៍លោកអំបីមិញនេះតើលោកកំពុងតែបញ្ជាក់
Lawyer, thank you, Mr. Witness. From my understanding, you are now mentioning that militiamen from the commune arrested these people, and the militiamen had authority to arrest these people who commits some offenses. Is that true? Answer: yes, that is true. Lawyer, my next question concerns the same point. When you were part of the evacuation committee, and when people allegedly committing offenses, and when they were found that they had a network or link with the enemies, were these people transferred and further sent to other security centers? Answer: when I was in the commune, or when I stopped working as a commune chief and was part of the evacuation committee, I never transfer those people to any other places. Lawyer, thank you very much, Mr. Witness. In relation to the fact that the district decided to use Krang Tajan as a re-education office, did you know why Krang Tajan was decided to be a re-education office? Did you know the reason why? Answer: I did not know. I first got the instruction, and I was asked to build shelters for a meeting to avoid aerial bombings. So villages and communes, they build halls for meeting to avoid any danger or aerial bombings. And at my house, there were 3 planes landed and arrested me when I was in my commune. So we got instructions that we had to build shelters for our meeting and to avoid any aerial bombing, or to avoid the plane seeing us on the ground. And I believe I told the courts already about this point. Lawyer, thank you, Mr. Witness. My next question is that yesterday you mentioned to the co-prosecutor that you entered and exit Krang Tajan office to supply the food. So I would like to know from you, when you were in Krang Tajan to supply food, were you together with your group? How many of you go there? And what did you do there? Answer: in mid-1973, the district decided to use the Krang Tajan to be a prison, and I was engaged to supply food. I went there and I could see people also supplied the food for the security center, and we had our respective duty and tasks. So the district would assign the duty And we from the commune or from the villages did not have any authority to assign any duty to other people. So I tell the court what I know only. Lawyer, thank you very much, Mr. Winner. Yesterday you told the court as well that you were assigned to work in Preikduj and you returned to your place once in a while and you met some of the caterers working in Krang Tajan. When you said you met some of the caterers from Krang Tajan, so who were they and where did you meet them and what did you talk to them? Answer. When I returned home, during the time I went to the meeting, I would visit my house and I would be stopped on the way home and I had a chit-chat. But I did not know about the prisoner and I did not ask about how many prisoners were detained at the security office and I did not pay attention to this matter.
Question. You stated that you met them and talked to them. Can you tell the court who were they and what were their names? Answer. I already stated their names. That is the district committee, including P and N. And sometimes I met this person or that person of the district committee. Question. Yesterday, you also stated that it was you who went to request for the release of a Soy San, who was a former prisoner, so that he could, you could use him to tend the cattle and to work in the prison. Can you tell the court who did you seek a request for the release of Soy San so that Soy San can work in the prison and tends the cattle? Answer. At one time after I returned from a district meeting, that is after I returned from Preikduj, then I returned to my home. And in fact, I did not enter the compound. I was at the outer part of the compound, and I saw Soy San, and I made a request to the district committee, and it was not actually for a full release of Soy San, but it was just to spare him. Question. Can you tell the court about your relationship and the committee overseeing Krang Tachan prison? Were you related to any of them, or what was it? Answer. I wasn't related to any of them. They were from different villages, but I knew them. So sometimes we met and talked. Question. Yesterday, in response to the co-prosecutor, you stated that there were 2 meetings held at the district level on a monthly basis and discussed the issues of policies, economics, and the military issue. On the issue of the military, did each commune raise the issue in order to learn from one another? Answer. That were the topics of the meeting's agenda, namely political, military, economic, culture, etc. And then we would be told about the achievement in the 2 weeks period that we made, because the meetings were held twice monthly. Question: can you tell the court during the meetings when they raised the issue of security at each commune? Can you tell the court what kinds of security issues that were raised? Just give us an example. Answer: the meetings were convened by the district, and the communes attended, and they did not speak about what happened at the detention center, because when it comes to the security center, they had separate meetings. So I did not know the details about that business. Question: yesterday you answered the co-prosecutor's question about Tamok, and that Tamok was the zone secretary of the Southwest, and that he also oversaw the North Zone, and you knew it because you were there and you saw it. Can you tell the court what were you doing and what did you see that led you to believe that Tamok was also governing the North Zone? Answer: indeed, that was what I stated to the court yesterday. Tamok was an easy-going person. He was down to earth, and he was friendly to everyone regardless of the status or the age. As for Kai Pok, I only knew him when I was at the rubber plantation in the North Zone, and Kai Pok was the zone secretary who chairs the meetings for us workers at the state rubber plantation, and that how I knew him as the zone secretary. Question: you responded to a series of questions by the co-prosecutor on Prey Kadui. Can you tell us what kind of people were sent to Prey Kadui, where you work and where you had to arrange the accommodation for them? Were most of them 17 April people who were evacuated from the cities? Answer: if you really don't understand the details, then of course it's a question that we need to clarify. Before the office 204 closed down, there were some people remained. Those people were without their family members. Some of them had been given through me by the district, that is, who were sent from Kangtachan. And other people were gathered from 5 districts, that is, those people who had tendencies with the previous colonial government, and they were former colonial soldiers, civil servants, teachers, professors, or commune chief or village chiefs, and they were all there, and I had to arrange the accommodation for them. And while I was there, making the accommodation for each family, I provided them with sufficient food, and they were all happy. However, after I was transferred to some realm at the Tonlebati, those people at Praikadut didn't stay there. They ran back to live at the village. Civil party lawyer interrupted. Thank you, Mr. Witness. Please turn on your microphone. This is my last question. Can we say that the cadres at the village and the commune has to report through a chain of command to the district up through the zone secretary? Therefore, the zone secretary, Tamok, would grasp all the issues that happened within the zone. Am I correct in making that conclusion? And I can make some comments on this issue because I deal with the administrative issue as well. The report was through the chains of command. For example, the unit to the village to the commune to the district to the sector, and the sector through the zone. As for me, when I made a direct contact with Tamok, it was not through the regular chain of command, because that was my own personal business and I sought his intervention in it. Thank you. And thank you, Mr. President and Mr. Witness. I do not have any further question. For the few minutes left, I'd like to cede the floor to my international counterpart.
Thank you, Mr. President. Good morning, witness. I am Marie Guiraud. I'm one of the civil party lawyers. I only have one follow-up question to put to you. Following your answer to my colleague, Moksavanari, right now, when she spoke to you about the monthly meetings at the district level, and when she asked you if security issues were discussed during these meetings, you told us that there were distinct meetings for the security centers. So I wanted to make sure that I had understood properly. And if you could tell us a little bit more about these distinct meetings that were organized at the district level regarding security issues.
On the security issue, as I stated, at the village or commune meetings, we were not allowed to know about the security issue. Only at the district level or at the education office level of the district, they held those kinds of meetings discussing the security issues or the measures that needed to be taken. As for us, the measure for us is to provide security to the residents in our village and the commune respectively.
So if I understood well, you tell us that you attended district level meetings during which security issues were discussed. Is that so? And if that is the case, can you give us some detail about the practical issues that were discussed during these district level meetings?
That is correct. The district would give us instructions. And as for the meetings, there were two kinds of meetings. There were open meetings and closed meetings. And certain issues, for example, security issues, were only discussed during the closed meetings at the district level.
So when you speak about closed meetings, what do you mean exactly? Who were the people attending these so-called closed meetings?
It was according to the committee, because there were core people, progressive people, preparatory or candidate people, and not all those groups of people were allowed to attend the meetings. Only selective people were informed about their plans, about the implementation of their plans.
Thank you. In your previous answer, you told us that the district would give you orders. Can you give us an example of the kind of orders that the district would give you pertaining to security?
What I meant was that the person who handed the 40 people to me from Krantachan, and as I was part of the evacuation committee, I was given the responsibility to take care of those 40 people, that is, to make necessary accommodation arrangement for them.
My last question. I would like to know if you personally attended enclosed meetings at the district level to discuss security issues. Did I understand your testimony properly?
No, I never attended any closed meetings. I was not involved in the district committee's meetings, as we also hate our own committee meetings.
I'm going to stop here, Mr. President. Thank you very much.
Thank you. It is now convenient for a short break. We will take a break now and return at 10:30. And court officer, please assist the witness during the break and invite him, including his duty counsel, to the courtroom again at 10:30. The court is now in recess.
សូមអញ្ជើញក្រោកឈរ